What a beautiful day, huh?
What?
Beautiful day, huh?
How is this a beautiful day? Cardano is down 10% and I'm also down 20% on Litecoin. Yes, babe, very nice.
You're so busy with your phone. Who are you talking to?
No one, babe, I'm just checking my crypto.
Not again, babe. Can we please just enjoy the moment for once?
Hard to enjoy something when your portfolio is down 15%. Sure, babe.
Wow, look at this bag. It's so lovely.
Useless investment, it only goes down in its value. It'd be better to spend that money on Ethereum. Lovely, babe, it would look good on you for sure. Ladies first.
I'm dying. Help me.
This menu looks so nice. What shall we order for drinks?
I'm going with water.
Water? Why?
Have you seen these prices for a glass of wine? $10 for one glass is crazy.
We're in a restaurant, babe. Come on. I'll go with a glass of red wine.
If I would have put that glass of wine in Dogecoin, I would have made it at least $40.
Are you enjoying it, honey?
Yes, it's delicious.
Sure.
Oh my god. How about a bottle of champagne for our 3 years anniversary? We need to celebrate life because it's beautiful.
But the other moment you said,
Waiter, can we have a bottle of champagne?
Drink it.
this is really nice of you, honey. I love this drink.
You're welcome. I just made a lot of money on a crypto coin.
Oh, you are busy with crypto again? How much money did you earn?
Well, yesterday it was like $1,500.
But?
But it lost some value this morning. Then before I ordered the champagne, it suddenly pumped up to like $1,600.
And did you already sell it?
No, I didn't. Maybe it will grow further.
So how much is it worth now?
I'll take a look.
Are you alright?
Is it possible to return the champagne, you think? I actually prefer water.
Hello, everybody. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed a little laugh out of that. Thought it was kind of amusing. I saw that earlier, and I thought, you know what, it'd be nice to share it with you guys. Nice to be here tonight with you guys. Hopefully, you guys could hear me okay. Let me go check the other screen. Yes, you can. So that's good. Appreciate for everybody here tonight. Please smash the like, share the show if you haven't done so. You don't have to. But with that said, let's start things off by welcoming our community here tonight. With the first comment comes from Tim Shea, who sprays from far away. Good to see you, Mr. Tim Shea, the mayor of crypto, the crypto commissioner, represent the 589th district of the XRP Army, and his fellow constituents, Mr. Tim Shea. All right, get more into it. We're also going to welcome Cody Core, the technically first member ever of this community. Good to see you, Cody Core. Boom. And we also got XXI Gaming in the house. He says, let's effing go, baby. Yes, let's do that. Good to see you, Mr. 21 Gaming, right? XXI. All right, we're going to go further down. Welcome a few more of you guys. You're on your phone. Hey, most of you guys are on your phone, so that's okay. We got the one and only Boomer Fitzooner in the house. Good to see you, Boomer. And I didn't mean to skip over the lovely Brittany. Good to see you again, Mrs. Brittany. Boom. And Gerald is in the house. He says, hello to one and all. Interesting. Well, good to have you here back, Mr. Gerald. You did like that? Yeah, you like that, huh? XXI? That's good. I'm glad you liked it. All right. Mr. 777 is in the house. Crypto Homes 777. We got the lovely Richie Rich is in the house. He looks like he's ready for a good party, right? Well, you guys might be doing that tomorrow since it's Friday. And you're still getting a good laugh out of that. That's good. Cool Cat Crypto is in the house. Good to see Triple C in the house. Boom. And we got some BSV for you, Mr. Cool Cat. Some interesting stuff to get into. I'm just going to welcome a few more of you guys. Yes, must spray from far away. Bob Franklin, greetings from a fellow Phoenician. Awesome. Very cool. You want to share what part of the Valley of the Sun you're in? Then cool. If you don't, that's okay too. Cheryl Wheeling, welcome back, Cheryl. Good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Guys, if you see any newcomers, make sure you give them the warm welcome. Currently, we have 29 people here so far. On the likes, where you got, what do we got? 10 likes. So definitely smash the like. It helps the broadcast. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. All right. What we're going to do now is read this from Vibra Finance CEO. Let's flip and go. Diamonds and fire. Well, thank you for that, Vibra Finance. Good to see you. Welcome back. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get into a topic that you may think you're aware of, but I promise that you're not. And if anything, let me see how we're doing. We might just put it off a little bit later. I mean, we got about 29 or so here, and that's okay. What I want to state is this, okay? So as you guys seen on the thumbnail tonight, right, talks about the benefits, obviously, of multiple wallets and so on. More to it than just that. I can't exactly fit the whole description into one thumbnail, but the bottom line is this, all right? I want to give a big up thanks to GG. I don't know if he's here tonight, but there's some news that basically dropped in regards to Algorand, Hedera teaming up. You're going to hear Dr. Lehman Baird of Hedera talk about how, they invited other blockchains. I'm not saying necessarily they invited BSV, but I find it awfully odd or a coincidence that with all this news about these new wallets and recovery and these things that Hedera and Algorand have teamed up to do, that you now also see BSV come out with news literally the same time. So all these big players, if you will, they're part of these blue chips. They're doing some things. And if anything, they're doing it from scratch. So let's address some of this. I think it's very important to do so. It's not your typical wallet, right? So on the outline tonight, that's going to be one of the key highlights. Of course, you guys see a little bit about the whole thing of Jasmy. We'll get into that as well. But yeah, actually to start things off, we will probably just get into the Jasmy because it is the first part of my tabs. So let me go ahead and pull up the branding for that for a moment. This is not super long in regards to Jasmy, but it's been on the minds of some of you guys for a while. So yeah, let's get into that. And in the process of doing so, I just want to advise you guys that, like I mentioned before, if you happen to be the type of person in which you're looking for a brand new cold storage solution, I do want to show you guys this real quick. It won't take too long. I did go with, for instance, Decent. I will mention it at least maybe once or twice a week or something like that. But basically speaking, here it is. And you do get a discount if you choose to go this route. The link is in the description. I don't do this much. You guys know me, right? But it is the new solution I went with. I still use a ledger, but for the most part, I'm looking more towards going almost all the way with Decent. I like it. It's easy to use. The whole 24-word, seed phrase doesn't take too long, but it's just a lot more user-friendly compared to going with the ledger. But nonetheless, definitely check it out. If that's something that you're interested in. Some of you guys have asked me, obviously, for the longest time, which one do you go with, Max? In the past was ledger. I have to say I'm going with the Decent wallet. So this is for one, if that's your thing. Again, the links is in the description for the live show, even recorded videos you see chopped up later on. And if you're the type of guy that wants to get, for instance, a 2x package, you do save a little bit more. Maybe, you and your wife or whoever, right? So there's this one here. And once again, links isn't, basically in the description. All right. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go and show you what I'm talking about. So let's put the branding back on. And basically speaking, there it is. The lovely branding, right? Right up there. Again, please give me a follow over on the X platform at DPG Maximus. Give Will Fix a follow over there as well. I post exclusive research also over there. Well, let's get into the hot topic of today. So some of you guys, whether it's Boomer F and Sooner or some of the other guys, have brought up the whole notion about the Jasmy Q4 lockup. We have to keep in mind that Japan's fourth quarter is different from the Western world. Hara's addressed this. A few other members of our community have addressed this. I want to give you guys kind of an idea of this. It's not necessarily so much of a, hey, here's the brand new update and I got exclusive news. But if anything, I want to alleviate some of the maybe the worry or maybe miscommunication that's been out there. Nothing against members of the community, but sometimes you know how it goes. Information passes and it just needs to be straightened out. So let's get into some of this. And basically speaking, you got to keep in mind, like I said, the fourth quarter is different for Japan compared to the Western world. But that said, what new information do we have in regards to Jasmy's fourth quarter lockup? Or is there even any particular information at all? Basically speaking, you got to keep in mind that specific fourth quarter, if you're wondering about the specifics, runs from April 1st to roughly March. It's like March 31st, April 1st, that particular area. And, the fourth quarter is definitely relevant to Jasmy's lockup. But basically, here's a rundown. So if you're wondering what confirmed details have we had, I did go through, various different channels, Reddit, Twitter, X, checked out some other, members of the community and so on. But the timeline for the lockup period actually originally began what was supposed to be October 2023. That's already come to pass. And it's expected to last to, for example, like March, give or take. Now, some people have stated, how can that be? I haven't seen anything in that regard. You got to keep in mind, this doesn't align with Japan's fiscal year, I should say, Q4, that ends supposedly March 31st, April 1st, give or take. What is the purpose of all this? Well, the primary focus and purpose of this, of the lockup, is to reduce the circulating supply of the Jasmy tokens. If you guys have seen lately, I think we're at either close to 99% or right at it. We almost got a full amount into circulation, and basically that's going to create a potential upward pressure on the token's price. So people say, well, it doesn't really matter because we're going to be going to like a V2, go into, for instance, the migration to the new was Optimism, this layer 2 blockchain solution for Jasmy. Even on the storage solution, a little bit different, right? With was it Polkadot layer 0? But the point is, it will affect Jasmy's token price, and it will incentivize long-term holding, right? For me, Jasmy is a long-term hold. I'm not really worried about it, but people mention this. If you're wondering about the functionalities of this, it is as an alternative to token burning mechanisms. As we know, there actually is a token burning mechanism in regards to Jasmy, but they never utilized it. Think about that. You've seen other projects that are solid. Good solid project for the most part. I'm not bashing Luna Classic. I'm in a Luna Classic and so on. But if you got something solid, you don't necessarily need to do that. It's kind of like having the power to do something, but they haven't utilized it. Some people agree with this, some people don't. But in regards to these locked tokens, okay, let's talk about this for a second. So some of the notes that I gathered and so on was that the specific amount of these tokens locked up hasn't been officially disclosed by Jasmy Labs. When I say Jasmy Labs, we know that that's Hara's portion of things. However, there is some estimates that suggest it could be a significant portion of the total circulating supply. Some of you guys don't want to necessarily hear that. You want me to give you something like, hey, ingrained into stone, this is what it is. I'm just basing off what I see. Don't shoot the messenger. But of course, a lot of you guys got some speculation when it comes to this. I mean, heck, we talk about a lot of things that are speculative, right? Like XRP to the moon. But the impact on price can very well be significant. But again, a lot of speculation. So this lockup period could very well contribute to price increases that we're all hoping for. Jasmy, basically, as the available supply diminishes, the overall market conditions and adoptions within Jasmy ecosystem could play also a significant role. And this is one thing I do want to point out. You do see more of the whole thing of new partnerships that are coming about. whether people like me talking about carbon credits and so on, understand the whole thing that they got with the NCCC, right? The National, was it Carbon Credit Consortium? So that's utility in motion. There is new information in regards to some, but not a lot when it comes to the lockup. And that is basically, the developments of the Jasmy ecosystem, the such partnerships that are involved, if there's any like specific platform advancements, all for the most part that has stayed the same. But it doesn't necessarily indirectly influence the impact of a lockup, right? There is, of course, market sentiment about this whole thing, different opinions. Some people are like, man, we need to see like 25% lockup or more for, significant impact of Jasmy. Teaches them when it comes to that. But some people do look at the lockup as being a positive sign of long-term commitment. Others, of course, have expressed in the, Jasmy Twitter community and so on, and even in some of these spaces that there's concerns about the decrease. When that happens, is it going to lead to decreased liquidity? I could agree to disagree with that, but definitely worth pointing out. Some things I want to mention to you guys is that while we don't have a lot of information about this, there's been plenty of discussions, and while it's not clear cut in regards to the increments of like, is it 5% and 10%, and then after the halving, is it this specific percent? It's not clear cut, and there's different sources that provide different details, but in reality, I think the only guys that really know are going to be Hara and the rest of the Jasmy management team. But there's a few things to consider, and that is the lockup started in January 2024 because back in October, like I said, I'm sorry if I misquoted that, they delayed that, right? So that involves a significant portion of the circulating supply being removed from active trading for a set period. Is it a set period before we get to the V2? We'll find out more information about that hopefully soon, maybe in the next Jasmy space from Hara and what's her name? Moonlight. I don't know. But there is different lockup periods, and they exist for different categories of, different tokens, not just Jasmy. But while there's longer durations that are typically associated with larger token stakes, keep in mind Jasmy's tokenomics are way different from the norm. Back to the topic about Jasmy for a second. The overall effect of the lockup, if you're wondering about it, like especially if you're new, what is the intention of all this? Basically, is to reduce token liquidity and potentially create upward pressure on price. That simply makes sense. Supply and demand kicking in, like we've always mentioned. If you create something which there's not as much of a huge supply, that's good. And also having the token simply being used for the utility that's meant for, like personal data lockers and all the other things that they're looking to contribute towards data democratization, finance democracy, and so on. But the specific increments, I try to look more into this myself. You guys know I do some of these things. I look into like the white paper and stuff like that. I didn't see anything specific in regards to, hey, this was mentioned in the original white paper or update for the white paper or anything like that, that explicitly broke down the lockup increments for different categories. If that was something that you're hoping I was going to deliver to you tonight, hey, I'm not going to make stuff up. I would never do that. That'd be ridiculous. So didn't see anything about that. I did go thoroughly through it and so on. Spent literally an hour and a half trying to find some information. Didn't have that. Back to the whole topic of community discussions. Some of you guys are very, very active in the Jasmy community, and rightfully so. But you got to keep in mind that some of these discussions mention like increments like 25%, 50%, 75% lockups, and even I've seen some ones higher, especially like over on Reddit and so on. But you got to keep in mind lockup periods ranging from 6 months to 3 years, right? And for me, when I think about that, I'm thinking to myself, well, we were in 2023 when we were first mentioning lockups, at least that I can recall, significant lockups, right? So the 3-year mention does kind of align with the KPI metrics of the $17 plus Jasmy, $17 plus, what's it, 780, something like that. I can't remember. We'll pull that up, but at least $17 KPI metrics, which sounds nuts, right? Like a lot of projects don't really come out with figures like that. But again, 2023 going to 2026, 2026 is supposed to be the the KPI target of $17 plus. So could that be accurate? Or is there somebody out there that knows something that we don't? I don't necessarily think that's the case, other than Hara. But these details, of course, lack formal confirmation and could be just interpretations of somebody's opinion or estimates. There's nothing solid in stone in that regard. What I recommend to everybody, hence maybe why you're here tonight, is always go with the official sources. You see Jasmy management from their official Twitter, or X, I should say, mention anything about it, I would go with that. Hara, I would go with that, right? There's community resources. We understand that there's members of, the Jasmy ambassadors, I should say. I would probably take what they would say. I mean, especially like Jesse, KR Finance, we know he is a ambassador. I don't know if he could release anything about it, but I mean, I'm sure you would have heard about it by now. There's, of course, you, me, everybody else in regards to independent research, but you got to keep in mind, I know a lot of you guys have been DMing me like crazy about this. I'm not saying I got like 100 DMs, but there's at least about 8 of you guys recently are like, come on, man, I need something about this whole thing. Don't have all the details yet. So just be aware of this, right? If you're not the type of person that checks Twitter all the time, it's there and it's being mentioned. And I'm sure we'll hear more about this and so on. But one thing I do want to bring up to you guys is a little bit more details from just that, the community. So here it is. Here's some visuals. Let's get into it. And basically speaking, here it is straight from Jasmy US. Talks about originally, this is, some of the recent ones. I had to give you guys something somewhat recent. You may feel as though November is not recent. Just hear me out, right? Don't shoot the messenger on this one. So it shows here that the Jasmy token lockup, as we know, like I mentioned before, does replace a burn mechanism, even though that burn net mechanism has never been used ever. It will begin April 2024. Like I mentioned, I thought it was either March 31st or April, so that matches. Japanese fiscal year ends March 31st, so that would be the end of their fourth quarter, right? That's where we get that term. Here's the official thing from, Hara originally. He mentioned this on November 10th. He says, until March, we would like to improve the utility of ERC20 tokens by locking up and moving them to a wallet on our consortium chain. Yeah, hence, you're going to see some things, big things happen in regards to the layer 2. We understand that. We've been there. We've done that, right? Going back to the whole thing from Mr. Jasmy Management. Let me pull this up for a second. So yeah, a lot of you guys already seen this. Some people say, keep buying. Here's another one, and for whatever reason, when I tried to click on the link for it, it came up with a broken URL. So I do apologize in regards to having to use a cached one on this, but you know me, I get kind of creative about this. So I don't know where this is originally at, if it was either from Twitter or it was from Reddit. But yes, you guys are familiar with Dip Metaverse. It was in regards to the conversation with Hara way back when. I think it's just the picture of the whole thing. I did see Icy Amphibian chiming in on this, and that's why I wanted to share this with you. So this guy asked 15 days ago, general question about the Q4 lockup. Why don't they know at this point in time how much will they lock up? Right. Fair question. Everybody's asking about it. He says, isn't this important? Oh, this is from Snoo Hobbies. That's the guy's name. Isn't this important, and should this be part of the business plan? It's not a last minute decision. Do you have any thoughts or information on this, and where are we going in the near future with the topic, right? We're all expecting, gains, the bull run, yada, yada, right? So Icy, member of community, great guy, he does respond to this, and he says the Q4 lockup is March 2024 on Japanese schedule. He's sure they have no idea on how many tokens they will lock up, but they are not sharing that information yet. So that right there tells me if Icy doesn't have it, then nobody really does. It says in the near future, they are launching the platform. They will focus on expansion of PDLs, as we know, personal data lockers, through device penetration. Look at the Jasmy patents, and I would look more into that compared to any FUD that you've been hearing lately. Price targets, like we talked about with the whole thing of the KPIs, keep in mind, this is a valid point that IC Amphibian makes. They have not shared price expectations, and I prefer, as in what he's saying from IC, I prefer it as a way to keep the SEC away. That is very, very true. Because, sometimes some things kind of fly under Gensler's radar and so on. Maybe it's not a good idea to fully mention all that stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like you look at Jasmy, and if it gets looked at the wrong way, it might tick off somebody. And instead of the innovation zone or monitoring zone, it's like you don't want to cross the wrong person. It's literally that bad when it comes to this. We've been there, we've done that, right? This guy obviously says, basically, hey, positive news. Thank you for sharing that. He feels as though that Jasmy has great, strong developers. Icy responds. He thinks that Jasmy has approximately 100 employees, give or take. There are also multiple engineering devs teams finishing the AI engine. And that is one thing, even though it's not on the subject of a Q4 lockup, you should never forget about that. Understand quality, right? When we talk about Tadashi Morita, right, he really, really stands out. Very well respected, well admired, well known figure in Japan that's part of the Jasmy, team. Who, man, I mean, he is probably the premier leader when it comes to the actual tech side of things, as far as like specific patents and contributing to the AI engine and so on. They also have powerful connections, as we know, through Bajit. We've done enough deep dives about this. So this is another question, and I think some of you guys asked this, so I don't want to read all of this, but this is a good question. This guy, a different guy, says 14 days ago, he says, dumb question, where do you think they get the lockup tokens? I mean, if only 100 million are left, do they come from that? Sorry, dumb question. I mean, it's not a dumb question. Any question's valid. And I love IC's response. He's like, there are no dumb questions, right? This stuff is very complicated for most of us here. It sounds very, very complicating, right? So it says the tokens that are participating or those companies want to lock up will come from the market. That means that all the companies have to buy it from a legit crypto exchange themselves, also known as buying from holders. And then, of course, another legitimate question, then why release them in the first place, right? Like, I could literally see some of you guys in the comments right now saying the same thing, like, why even do it in the first place? Great question, right? Look what Icy says, coming in with the clutch, as usual. Larger circulating supply can reduce price volatility in the future. I would agree with that. Jasmy Incorporated plans on their network going global, true. So they wanted to maintain the 50 billion max supply, so there's enough Jasmy for users to acquire. The tokenomics of different cryptos can determine how the project raises funds and operates while still building the startup company. I think that's a legitimate answer, and I would have to agree with that. Do I have anything more in regards to this? Well, yes. But it's in regards to KPI, not necessarily so much about the whole thing of the lockup. So we did mention the whole thing about KPI. Tim Shea sent me a DM a few days about this. I did see it in the past, but I do want to give credit to Tim. He's like, did we ever talk about this? Possibly, just briefly, right? But we'll talk about it again. Jasmy, like it says, does have 3 KPIs. Were you aware of that? Well, it's a little blurry. It's a screenshot that somebody took with a bad phone or something. But it says Jasmy aims to achieve KPIs for the following 3 indicators. Listen to this, because some people just have never seen it. Active users, amount of data lockers. Sounds nuts, but 107 million are part of that KPI target. They aim to have 7 million active users in Japan and 100 million overseas. When was that originally posted? I know it's hard to see, but underneath that, unless you're really looking close at your screen, you're like a little kid, like looking at the screen all super close, right? Says basically February 1st of 2021 is when they originally released this. All right. What about the value of data per capita? Now, this is, again, at that time, things have changed, as we know. It says $500. We consider the total amount of revenue that the accumulated data will earn in the future as the data value per person and aim for a value of $500. What about this other part? PDR, Jasmy coin price divided by, what is it, data value multiplier or slash? So 16.7x. Says PDR, we will adopt market capitalization of Jasmy coin divided by, okay, so that was correct, divided by divided by the data value of the platform as our own index, aiming for 16.7x. So it's not like they just pulled this out of thin air, if anybody's wondering about that. There's the formula that you see here, and it basically shows PDR price, data, value ratio, 16.7x divided by, which equals, was it Jasmy coin market capitalization, total user data value in the platform. Number one, price market times market circulation supply. And then this other one, number of active users, as in the personal data lockers, the PDL, times data value per user. 16.7 equals, again, the top part, price 50 billion, because we know that 3,690 zeros and the number in front of it is a billion. So that would be 50 billion divided by 107 million times 500 from the value of data per capita. What is the price target? $17.80. I know it sounds crazy. Some people are like, these guys are dreaming. There's just no way. Well, you know something? A lot of us have been wrong about a lot of stuff in the past, have we not been? And there's harsh criticisms about Jasmy or Japan not focused enough about marketing. They've already been there and done that with the whole thing with Sony. But look what happened. Quality products. And you say what you want. They delay things. They don't release things when you and I want them to be released. Maybe that's a good thing. Instead of, rushing to market with something broken, build something for quality. Maybe that's what's going on with this layer 2. I don't have the answers, but I would kind of lean towards that. And even with the whole Web3 cloud solution on Polkadot, right? So I just thought I would share that briefly with you guys. I know it's not a lot, but I think we talked about it for a bit. And if anything, maybe kind of give you an idea of what could happen, what is happening. Maybe you didn't know about some of those things. Maybe you knew about all those things. But whatever the case be, I don't want to ignore a community and just be like, oh, don't want to talk about it. We talked about it. There it is. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if anything, have you heard something that I don't know about? You can share that too. All right. What we're going to do now is take off the branding. We do have some more coverage. The next bit of coverage that we have for you tonight is the whole thing of Hedera and Algorand teaming up. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. Has to do with wallets, recovery, all that stuff. Now we know with Hedera, they mentioned some things about creating something in regards to recovering lost seed phrases, but teaming up with Algorand, that is very interesting. Shout out to GG, member of a community, who posted this on X. So I definitely want to give him a dab of thanks, because that's what we are. We are a community of DLT enthusiasts, right? Absolutely. So let's get back into the comments. Thank you guys for being here. And let's see what we have. We have next on the comments is going to be it's Mark. Welcome back, Mark. He says, sup, man? BSV is looking hot. Absolutely. We do have some BSV coverage tonight. It'll be right after the Hedera / Algorand, and it will flow nicely because we're talking about wallets. So Mark says he bought 60 BSV at 48, sold 10 at 100. Will most likely live to regret it when Bitcoin BSV is 40,000. I hear where you're coming from. The bottom for me was around 25 or 27. Can't remember, but I think it was 27. Like I wanted to buy at 25, and then it went up to 27. That's what it was. So I have no complaints about that. Cool Cat says Decent is a good wallet. He has 2. Doesn't support BSV anymore. Only complaint. And that's what I saw recently. Like they're gonna take it off. That sucks. So I'll have to ask the guy who's giving me the referral links. I say, hey, you know anything about why? But we'll find out. All right, let's see here. Mark Reddick, welcome. Why can't we use the Jasmy personal data locker as a secure storage of our crypto in the new Jasmy? Super Wallet seems to me, if it's not secure, it would be the best place to keep your crypto. Very true. Very true. And by the way, I don't have the links available, but I'm gonna look more into it. So apparently, for some people don't know this, you can actually apply to test out a personal data locker. I don't know if you guys are ever aware of that. I don't know. Maybe you guys were, maybe you weren't. We'll have to definitely look more into that. But I thought that was interesting. But guys, let's welcome Mark Reddick. Glad to have you here tonight. And Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk is back. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Richie Rich, anyone know a cheap way to buy Jasmy? I've been stuck buying on MetaMask. ETH fees are killing me. Go with what is it, crypto.com. You know, I'm pretty sure it's there. Yeah, crypto.com does charge a little bit more, but it's centralized exchange. You're not gonna get hit with those huge gas fees. So also Jasmy does have a Binance Smart Chain bridge. That's another way to avoid it. But anyway, let me pull this up for a second. Let's double check that. I'm almost certain I saw it on crypto.com, and you know, I have some things I bought from crypto.com. Just double check that. I'm almost certain of that. So you can even get on Coinbase. What else we got? Kraken. I'm just mentioning some of these centralized exchanges. You might be anti-centralized exchange. I hear you, but you do save a lot when it comes to some of these fees. So yeah, I do see it's on crypto.com. I knew I was right about that. All right. All right, let's see here. We're gonna go further down. Yeah, good point. So Tim Shea already pointed it out, which is cool. You're in Canada, so okay, interesting. All right, Boomer F and Sooner. I was wondering you're gonna chime in about this because I was like, thinking Boomer F and Sooner. This is right up his alley. Any lockup would be awesome. Right now, a 50 billion market cap gets it to 1 billion, and I think that's so more than doable, guys. Yeah, Boomer, you're absolutely right. Any lockup is just icing on the cake, and I would 100% agree with that. And combine it with, supply and demand. I mean, like we're not even taking into consideration. Maybe most of us are. I mean, I would hope so. And that is when we talk about the utility in motion. I mean, people are anti, carbon credits or whatever the case be, or, some of this other doom and gloom type stuff. Keep in mind, utility in motion is a real thing. It creates more supply, more demand for the asset. Instead of just having something that's like, oh, there's virtually no utility here, but we have a lockup. I mean, this is not a meme token we're talking about, but we have a community that has that meme token feel to it, right? Okay. So let's go further down. We got Mr. Corey Bebe, aka Just Read the Scam. I always say it like that, don't I? You see HBAR and Algo join forces. Yeah, we're going to talk about that here soon. All right. Viber Finance says HBAR gems are pumping like hell. Sauce, Dovu, Jam, CLXY, H Sweet, Centex. Very good point. You added Flux and HBAR bags today. Awesome. Here's a guy I haven't seen in a while. It is Blackwood. Good to see you, Blackwood. How you doing tonight? And you're still going to DCA though? Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things we can still DCA. All right, let's see here. I'm surprised that we don't see Mr. Mike Cornwell, aka Elon Muff. He must be very busy at the moment, which is fine. All right, shout out to him and Mr. Squidward, Edward Vincent. But we're going to just read a couple more comments. This whole lockup things. Okay, fair enough. All right, let's see here. 50 Cent Jasmy and a river dance with Tim Shea. Well, you could be doing a lot of river dancing, my friend. All right. Corey Bebe, I think Jasmy can do a 20 to 30x bull run. Cool. All right, let's see here. Vibra Finance. Jasmy's so cheap on Conga, you don't need to KYC either. The list of coins on that exchange is the best you've seen. Interesting. I never used that one before. Mark, I didn't mean to skip your comment. Breaking news, Vanguard just banned all Bitcoin ETFs. Really? Let's pull that up because you know what? That is pretty breaking. So let's see here. Vanguard ETF. Let's see what it says. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah. Well, it's roughly 6 hours ago, right? Maybe I'll pull it from CoinDesk because sometimes they got a video. So this is breaking news from Maximus Crypto sideline reporter, Mr. Mark And let's pull this up. Shout out to you, Mark, for the info. And here we go. And let's slow this up for a second. And then we'll get into, one of the main topics that we had tonight. All right. So, investment giant Vanguard blocks clients from buying Bitcoin ETFs in an attempt to purchase BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust IBIT and the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust GBTC through Vanguard failed. Ooh, boy. If you're wondering how recent it is, it does show that it's on, it's posted today, January 11th. But yeah, they are one of the largest. I mean, they're up there with BlackRock. I mean, they're not as big as BlackRock, but they won't be allowing customers to buy the newly approved Bitcoin ETFs. It's an attempt to, I should say, to invest in BlackRock, iShares Trust IBIT. They're stating that this brokerage account generated a, quote, trade cannot be completed warning. Okay. Is there anything more about this? Buy orders are not currently accepted for the security. The message said securities, or the quote, securities may be unavailable for purchase at Vanguard due to a number of variables, including regulatory restrictions, corporate actions, or various trading and or settlement limitations. A Vanguard spokesman told CoinDesk that spot Bitcoin ETFs will not be available for purchase on the Vanguard platform, and it has no plans to offer Vanguard Bitcoin ETFs or other crypto-related products. My God. The spokesperson said the reason behind this decision is that crypto-related products don't align with the asset manager's focus on asset classes that build blocks of a well-balanced long-term investment portfolio. The block reported Vanguard's plan to block Bitcoin ETFs earlier. Vanguard's unfriendliness contrasts with the embrace of Bitcoin ETFs by some of the company's largest rivals, including BlackRock, True, Fidelity, Invesco, which of course have all, got this whole thing of these Bitcoin ETFs and started trading on Thursday, which is today. They won U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission permission to do so on Wednesday. Charles Schwab, another broker, confirmed Thursday that it's letting customers trade Bitcoin ETFs. We'll have to see what happens with this. I will state this. In due time, could this be an example that they're just going to wait to see what happens with the other competitors? And what I mean by that basically is like, we'll hop on the gravy train after we see how well this works out with our competitors and so on. I think so. I definitely think that could be a possibility. But hey, Mark, thanks again for that. Do appreciate it. Boom. All right. So Elon Musk is here. Okay. I think you were just busy. But good to see you, Mr. Mike Cornwell. Corey Beebe says Double D Dixon should get XLM holders 20x to 30x this bull run. That'd be nice. It'd be very nice. Mark, this just tells you that the big money knows BTC is a scam and not Bitcoin. That's a good point. I think you were talking about this a few days ago, right? Or the other day. Elon Musk with a $2 super chat. He says he's here. Thanks, man, for the $2 super chat. Does help. Really appreciate it, man. Tim Shea says 2 big handfuls. All right. Cool Cat also says M. Lynch and Vanguard said blank you. Yeah. All right. I'll read like maybe 2 or 3 more comments. Blackwood says that's okay. Let Vanguard fade into obscurity. We have a future to build. Good point. LaGran Commission is back. Oui, merci beaucoup. LaGran Commission. Oui. And with that said, let's get into the other segment of the day. What could it be? All right. Well, it is going to be after I clear up these tabs because I need to do that. All right. I think what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to put up the Algorand one because, we never get to use the Algorand one. We're always using the Hedera H-bar Reese's peanut butter cup looking thing. So, can't have 2 up at the same time. So anyway, looks kind of cool, right? So, dang, man, I got to be careful, huh? I'm starting to turn into Crypto Hulk. I got to get like a Luden's cough drop or something. Man. All right. No, nobody has to drop me a super chat to get a coffee drop, right? Let's can you imagine somebody giving him like an NFT of a cough drop? It's like this is one of one. Anyway. All right, enough about that. But basically, yeah, let's pull this up. This is actually going to start off with tokenizer, and it's not in regards to the wallet, but it's cool stuff. Actually, I will switch it back. Sorry, because this one is about Hedera, so this is good. Shout out to the one and only tokenizer. He is the goat of research. I've been pretty consistent about that. It's true. You're covering over like 30 or 40 different cryptos consistently, like he is. He's the goat. Absolutely the goat. All right, what does tokenizer have here? Well, he talks about 1 million transactions on HBAR testnet in under 90 seconds, totaling an average of 11,111 TPS. I know, guys, with BS3, you're like, that is not even close to what we got. Hey, this is about HBAR, right? Wondering what big things are currently testing on the hash graph, and there it is, and counting, right? And of course, this was just taken on a GIF, but sponsored by Saucer Swap is worth pointing out. I think it's significant. So I'm going to take you to the next page of what we have. And this one comes from, I think, Coin Telegraph. So let me just take a moment to pull that up and let's get into that. So here it is. What do we see here? Well, we see a few things. So number one, Hedera and Algorand partnered to develop decentralized wallet recovery system. Shout out to our fellow community member, GG, aka Digital G, on the X platform for providing this information. How cool was that? It says here, blockchain ecosystems, Hedera and Algorand collaborate on a new alliance and open source protocol to troubleshoot the need for decentralized recovery or digital assets. Now, in the past, I think over a year ago, I said, watch out. Maybe in 2024 or 2025, you're going to see some big things for Hedera when it comes to seed recovery or anything about recovery. And it's going to be game changer when it comes to wallets, because we will know that when we get to the point of not just like, ETF approvals and things like that, but the key for mass adoption going into like maybe a utility run or this new next phase of the crypto, boom cycle, bull markets, you name it, right? This next bull run that we're going into, that Hedera is going to give us some updates when it comes to this. Say what you want when it comes to instilling confidence for new investors or old investors that lost their, when it came to like FTX or Terra Luna or anything like that. When they hear things of, I'm a noob, I hate to say that, I don't know what I'm doing. So if I actually lose my seed phrase, God forbid, because I'm too lazy to write down or whatever case be. I'm not saying people, are all lazy to do that, but we got, some people actually just lose it for whatever reason. I don't know. But if you have a solution that's provided from Hedera, I think that's big. But also Algorand. So what is this? Well, it says major players from within the Hedera and Algorand ecosystems, including HBAR Foundation and Algorand Foundation, announced a launch of a new alliance called the DREC Alliance on January 11th, today, to build a decentralized recovery system for digital assets. This is absolutely huge news, in my opinion, for both Hedera and Algorand. And the alliance, which was unveiled at the Crypto Finance Conference in St. Moritz by Lehman Baird, Dr. Lehman Baird, co-founder, as we know, of Hedera, and John Woods, Chief Technology Officer over at Algorand, during a joint panel, announced a few key things. And if anything, I'm going to bring you to some of these key things that was mentioned. I'll give you this quote real quick. It says, all blockchains need to work together to create a compatible standard across all wallet software on all blockchains. Now, why is this so significant other than what was mentioned here? I'll give you some of my notes in a bit, but what I want to do now is I want to take you to this specific clip that was provided by a link from, Digital G, aka GG. So I don't know if GG is here tonight in our attendance on the live chat, but where the case be, look at this. This guy CFC St. Moritz, right? Because we just mentioned that, says news flash. This morning's panel, like we mentioned, back to everything on the previous page, right? You will see. Why is it doing that? My God, I just kind of annoyed my keyboard or whatever. Hold on a second. I got to fix that. I don't want to zoom in like that. I just got a new keyboard because the other one just kept disconnecting. So sorry about that. But yeah, we're going to play this for a second. It is a clip that gets right to the point of this discussion of why this is so significant. So we're going to play this clip, and then I have another one I want to get into that's straight from the full thing, full video. We'll play roughly about 5 minutes of that. So, about 5 to 6 minutes of this. Listen to this. Very, very bullish news, in my opinion. And if you have just connected and you like HBAR, Algorand, you're in for a treat. Listen to this. Here we go.
It is the DREC Alliance, decentralized recovery. So DeFi is decentralized finance. DREC is decentralized recovery. So it's the DREC Alliance. And, Algorand and Hedera are involved right now, but other blockchains will also be involved. And we are recruiting others. And then we have lots of other people involved. We have wallets involved. We have people building apps for banks, people building apps for credit unions. So the building blocks and Bank Social are two that are building for them. We have wallets involved, and we want to get even broader people like password managers involved. It is.
All right. Now, hear me out, okay? I know that Mr. Mike Cornwell is going to absolutely love, or probably does love, the idea that literally you heard Dr. Lehman Baird mention by name Bank Social. It's one thing to see Hedera retweet about it, but now you have the head honcho, Dr. Lehman Baird, mention Bank Social. Bank Social is very undervalued right now. A lot of people consider it a low market cap gem. I do need to get on that train. I'll be honest, and I'll look more to cover it a little bit more. We already done a few videos on them. So there's that. Let's take you to the next part of this because it's good. I fast forwarded over to some key areas. Let's put the Algorand one back on. So let's jump into it. This is straight from YouTube. Yep. And I shared the wrong one. I just shared like a screen of you guys. Jeez. All right, let me fix that. So here we go. There we go. All right, so this is fast forwarded to this mark. Hedera and Algorand ecosystems for DREC Alliance enabling mass market decentralized recovery. Posted literally 18 hours ago. There's a fuller, more of a full description about this joint operation for a panel on layer 1 superpowers. Listen to this key part. Listen to Dr. Lehman Baird here, and there's some more that they chime in with these guys. All right, let's play this.
And so the important thing here is that it be interoperable. We have one standard. It doesn't even matter what the standard is. And this will become an IETF standard. This is going to become real standards. But the important thing is that you have a wallet on one blockchain, and I have a password manager, and somebody else has the app that they use to access their bank. And each of us can be helpers to each other and sharing information with each other because it's interoperable. That's the important thing, is that we have one standard, that it's open, that it's reviewed by everyone, that it becomes actual internet standards. This is the important thing. 10 competing standards where every wallet can't talk to each other is bad.
Right, absolutely. Well, and so it sounds like you're structuring this to be really open and permissionless, where people can adopt the standard directly. And so I take it this isn't like a foundation or formal membership. It's just you're creating this open infrastructure.
Both. So we're creating the DREC Alliance that people can join. But we're also creating, the Alliance itself is creating libraries that are free software to make it easy for you to add this to your app. The idea is you just add a few lines of code to your app, and now you have DREC. That's the idea. And so you don't have to join anything. You just download it from GitHub and go. Right. Or if you want to, you can join and you can help influence it. You can influence what the standard is. It is not owned by any one person. That's the goal.
So I presume this has been open source then?
All open source.
Very much so.
Yes.
And we're going to have a technical committee, of which the Algorand Foundation and of course Swirls Labs and Hedera are founding members, and members will rotate over time, and other members will be elected. We want folks from across the industry, from across the chains, from across various entities that are interested in this, to come and help it to be successful. it has to be open. It has to be able to be something that is not controlled, again, by one entity or one company, one chain. And so it is very much in the DNA of this initiative to have others from across the industry influence and develop it.
And these two ecosystems are just the first two members. They're not special. There'll be many members that are all equal. There's nothing special about these two.
Right.
And our goal is to not be special. That's our goal.
Yeah. Well, I think that's very smart. You know, you look at the most successful internet standards and they're all neutral, they're all open. That's what gets the broadest adoption.
Right. And if you look at TLS, the transport layer security that encrypts our traffic as we browse the websites, you know, different browsers implement it in different ways, sure. But there's a defined standard on what it means to be TLS compatible, on what it means to be secure. And so, you know, even if folks choose not to use the reference implementation that's going to be provided, that's fine. Yeah. You can take the standard, implement it yourself, implement it in Rust, implement it in a different language that you prefer. I couldn't be more excited to do this with you.
Oh yeah, this is very exciting. It's a very simple standard for what bytes go over the internet. And we'll have libraries that you can use, or you can ignore them and just make the bytes go over the internet yourself. Write it all from scratch. It all works.
And even at the protocol level, which defines, you know, as Lehman's already said, hey, I've got a key. How do I make sure if I lose this key, I don't end up in trouble? Answer, I distribute the shards of the key to my helpers, to the individuals who I trust in my circle of friends and family. And the protocol defines how we can check with those individuals, or indeed the computers that they run, to make sure that they're still alive and active, and I can rely upon them if I ever need to recover my key. But even that protocol itself, sure, we've started with what we think is a very strong implementation. But over time, just like SSH has evolved or other protocols on the internet have evolved, we may add elements to that, remove elements, modify it. And so this stuff is not it's not stuck in time. It's going to evolve over time. But ultimately, always with an eye for staying decentralized, ensuring that we have best-in-class engineering and applied cryptography so that it's secure. And I think doing so in a way that it is agnostic to any one party.
Right.
Exactly. So it's very simple protocols for how do I make you be my helper? How do I send you information? How do I recover the information? How do I check every day that you still have it? My phone does that automatically. All of that is the protocols. These will be tweaked over time. They'll evolve over time, but they're very simple and straightforward. I keep saying it's not rocket science. It's using very standard cryptography, very standard concepts, but it's desperately needed. We need the safety net.
Honestly, it's shocking it hasn't been done before.
I think they've tried it. I just think it's, well, from my assessment, I should speak for myself, is that anyone who's tried it before has done so in a way that is somehow biased towards something, whether it's a technology or a party or otherwise.
Right.
This implementation, Lehman, do you want to?
Yeah, so there have been biases. Often you have to use a smart contract on a blockchain or something. Also, often the world can see who your helpers are. Also, I don't think anyone has done this where you're checking every day.
Right.
Honestly, if you give this to your friends and family and you never check, I guarantee you, one by one, they're going to lose it. You'll never know it until you need it, and then it's too late.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'm impressed that it's dynamic and not static, right? I've helped with a lot of key ceremonies over the decade with different protocols, and usually it's a static key instead of here's a dynamic solution.
Right. And this is key. Pun intended, because social recovery has existed for a while, right? Sure, you can use Shamir secret sharing and shard up a key, whatever. You can give it to people. But ultimately, every single time I've seen this try to be relied upon, it comes to the point of recovery and you're a person short, or someone's machine has died because they suffer from the same fate you did, which is why you need them in the first place. And so this, and ensuring that things are still hot, things are still there and are still dependable, makes the protocol robust and fit for purpose.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time today to go through this. I mean, I think this is an incredible outcome from an event like CFC, to see the industry coming together, building new technology that'll ultimately advance all of the ecosystem. So thank you guys for that contribution.
And thank you, Lehman, for having us on board.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. That was super cool, right? Really, really cool. Some key things I just want to share with you guys in regards to this, in closing for the segment, in regards to all of this. So you saw what was presented from both sides. Dr. Lehman Baird on the left, as you guys would say, the guy doing the alien sign language, right? And then the other gentleman from Algorand on the, was it the middle? So basically speaking, in my own notes that I want to present to you guys, it's like this. At the end of the day, why is this so significant? Why is it like important, you know, especially for us as in like, investors into both Algo and HBAR, right? Well, there's several reasons for the significance of this DREC alliance that started literally today. So, for one, it does address a critical need for these specific things, does it not? There's security concerns, of course, in just that DeFi, to say the least, right? Self custody of digital assets, of course, comes with risks, many different risks. Hence, why we shared the whole thing about Vanguard earlier, right? Vanguard may think that the whole thing of Bitcoin ETFs is just too risky. But losing private keys can result in irreversible loss. True. Existing recovery solutions often involve centralized custodians or vulnerable single points of failure. Yeah, always got to address that. This whole thing of DREC, right, offers a robust solution. So again, supply and demand. I mean, when more people get the news about this, I think it's going to be massive. But I mean, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be HBAR and Algorand and Bank Social to the moon just yet. But with mass adoption, I think it definitely could be, because it is a robust solution. Every action has a reaction. By building a decentralized recovery system, the DREC Alliance aims to mitigate these specific risks and improve the overall security of the DeFi space. And how about this? Instill more confidence. Because, I think later on, like we shared earlier, the whole thing about Vanguard deciding they changed their mind. They're going to do the whole ETF thing. Again, maybe they just kind of want to see what happens with the competition, if it's working out and so on. But to instill more confidence in the DeFi space is a win for all of us. Now, what about this whole thing about this collaboration and the innovation of it? Well, major industry players are in fact coming together. You already see it. I said in the past, Hedera and Algorand, they seem like they're the greenest of the green, right, when it comes to all this. Well, this alliance does include prominent names like, for instance, such as these two, showcasing a unified effort to tackle a shared challenge. And that is, for instance, whether it's seed recovery or some of these other things that was outlined by Dr. Lehman Barrett and so on. This collaboration signifies commitment and expertise, increasing the project's credibility and, of course, just that value. So you're hitting all sorts of different benchmarks that need to be hit. How impressive is that? What about the whole thing of open source and standardized approach? Did you not hear Dr. Lehman Barrett talk about standards? Gore Verdin always talks about them as well. The DREC open source protocol establishes a secure and transparent framework for digital asset recovery. True. And this is day one of this. How's that going to work out? I think it's going to work out beautifully. We'll have to see how, where this goes. But it does foster in innovation and ensures compatibility across different platforms, benefiting the entire DeFi ecosystem. I'm a gamer. I remember back in the day, my PlayStation 3, I thought it was the most amazing thing, having backwards compatibility. I could play my PS2 games, my PS1 and so on. Now apply that to the likes of what? DeFi and blockchain and distributed ledger technologies and so on. All compatible? That's a beautiful thing. Isn't that the whole point of this whole thing that we're into anyway? I think so. How about enhanced user experience? At the end of the day, if users can use this and it's simple to use, and you have Aunt May or whoever the heck it is, Granny, whoever, that can easily use it without having to understand a bunch of Greek, if you will, or coding, or just something that just seems too hard to do, you're winning over the masses. And if more masses come in from the percentages of people that are not part of the 5% of crypto people like us, then that is the path towards mass adoption, because of a streamlined recovery process. And listen to this for a second. This whole thing of DREC removes single points of failure and offers automatic confirmations and resharing, which enables a smoother and more reliable recovery process for users who lose their access keys. So I'm telling you, I think this is a magic moment. If you had to put a date on something, because sometimes we kind of do this, of where it starts, this is huge, absolutely massive news. And I can't thank GG enough, right? Digital G, for sharing this, because this is so significant. We talk about the pathway forward with innovation. This is it. Increase user confidence. Listen to this for a second. Knowing a secure decentralized recovery system is available can basically boost and very well instill user confidence and encourage wider adoption of self-custody. Yes, self-custody and just that, DeFi, right? That's what we want. There's more to it than just that. There's going to be things like strengthening user trust. We get it. But I want to keep, I want you guys to take this away. Yes, this is in its early stages. And yes, long-term success will depend on its execution and integration with the broader DeFi ecosystem. But please know this, 2 standout quality projects that are part of the blue chips, if you will, coming together to achieve one common goal. I think it's huge. So with that said, that concludes our coverage tonight for this collaboration of Hedera HBAR and, of course, Algorand. The next part of the coverage we have for tonight will be BSV. Why mention them? Well, why not? But it's also because BSV has another thing going on in regards to developing a new wallet from scratch. We're going to want to stick around for that one as well. All right. Let's get back into the comments. I did see a super chat came through. So let me get to that real quick. And let me see what we got. It is from LaGran Commission. Wow, I'm blown away, man. $100 super chat. He says, in honor of my dad, I'm sure he is proud of you. Oh, man. Thank you so much. I'm sure he is. I love and miss him every day. It's hard to kind of not get emotional about him, but I'm going to do my best. But thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And I've been working hard every day. And I'm just trying to, put a lot of focus on, work and also, still doing the show. And I'm also trying to, take some time off. But in reality, even on my days when I'm not with you guys, I'm still working. So, but it's okay. And if anything, I'm also trying to improve my own physical. I want to give a shout out to this person. This person might watch the replay. I do thank you again, LaGran, for the $100 super chat. I don't want to dismiss that. Thank you so much. But it's giving thanks back too. I want to give a shout out and thanks to X Marks the Spot. There was a time in which I wasn't eating dinner, and then I saw his or her comment about not eating dinner, and he had the comment of something about like it produces insulin, and it's just and a hormone. It's just not good at our age. And so you guys know me, DYOR, right? Do your own research. I look more into it, and I found so many benefits to that. So you guys know I suffer from sleep apnea. Guess what? For over a week now, thanks to X Marks the Spot, old Max here has had more energy. I lost a little bit of weight, not a lot, but the main thing is I don't feel like a zombie anymore. I'm actually getting some sleep, and it's because I'm not eating dinner. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not me like starving myself. I eat a good, healthy breakfast, maybe have a lunch, and the only time I'm really going to eat dinner anymore, maybe like, a social thing, like going out with a friend or something like that, but I'm not going to make it happen no more. I'm actually getting some sleep and feeling rested. It's been like 2 or 3 years since I felt like that. So the way I look at it is like this, guys. I have given it to the Lord Jesus. I said, God, you got to help me with this. This whole thing of sleep apnea is ruining my life. As you guys know, I can't do the whole CPAP thing. I can't tolerate it. And so, yeah, I do thank you, LaGran, $100 super chat. Thank you so much. Really, really nice of you. But it says in scripture, as you know, you have not because you ask not. Shout out to my mom even as well. I miss my mom and my dad. And my mom would always tell me that. She was just like, give it to God and give your problems to God. And I did. That was one of my New Year's resolutions. So I'm running with it. And yeah, I even changed up my pillow. Just give you guys a little heads up real quick before we kick into the next thing. The hospice, they had some extra pillows that they left behind that my dad never used. And I thought, well, I guess this is mine now. And say what you want. This new pillow is just a heck of a lot more firmer and better than Mike Lindell's, my pillow. Nothing against him. And it's just, that's helping too. And so like the new position that I put myself in, it's one thing to will yourself to the finish line to to do work and then try to motivate yourself when you're just a zombie and you didn't get no sleep. You're not feeling good. I'm finally feeling good. I can't not thank the Lord enough, and I cannot thank people from our community like X marks the spot for that. I mean, it's driven me to like just be a better person. I just feel so much better and more enthusiastic and not being so much of a zombie. I mean, maybe this thing finally starts going away. It might take some time, but there's where it's at. So thank you, LaGran. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate it. All right, we're going to get into the next part of our comments for a second. Vibra Finance says, good God, Bank Social is on BNB. Time to FOMO. You guys got to do what you got to do. I get it. Bank Social seems like it's the real McCoy, and we'll continue to cover it. I'm going to get into it finally. I was kind of waiting for like a moment because you guys know how it is. Sometimes Hedera will kind of retweet some things, and it's like, well, that's significant. But to hear it from Dr. Lehman Baird, Bank Social, he mentions it. That right there, that's endorsement right there. So I thought that was pretty big. So when you guys see the chopped up version of this, it's going to basically, I'll have to come up with a good thumbnail because I don't want people to just dismiss it. But, Hedera, Algorand, Bank Social, it's pretty big. You need more algo. Let's welcome Goo God, Generate Alien, interesting name. PTGC Titan H bar. Well, welcome. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, it is very kind of him. That was awesome. All right, Vibra Finance. I was hoping you were going to send me a bag over. Yes, I know you got a bag of that. I know you're talking about Bank Social, right? All right. And we're gonna go further down. Let's read LaGran's comment. He says he thinks ETH and XRP have a great chance of at least a 3x before the ETF approval later this year. Man, that's bullish. I like the sound of that. Toff, welcome. He says pick and pock. Well, I don't know, but welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Okay. All right. Let's see. We got Andrew Gonzalez. Welcome. Even though you're saying hi to Tim, I still want to welcome you. And let's see here. I'm kind of catching up. So this is a while back. This is 7:59. I'm not too far behind, about 15 minutes. Sounds like an infomercial, but you know what? It's okay. You want to see some things like that. At least I do. Man on left being aware. Man on left is Dr. Lehman Baird, people. Hell, have we not been talking about this guy for a while? Have you not been paying attention? Are you not entertained? I'm kidding, right? Well, I'm not really kidding, but anyway. Just love how you guys refer to him as the dude on the left. And I just highlighted that, didn't I not? Dude on the left just, oh my God. Anyway, I'm glad you guys are having fun. Yeah, that's the Elon Musk moment, right? That's okay. That's good stuff. I should see some of the things he sends me, I don't know if I could share it, but anyway, there's a guy. He looks just like me. He's got puffy cheeks. He's Asian looking guy. I'm not really super Asian looking guy. And what was he? What did he say? Still laughing. He laughs, and then he's got this other thing. It's just like, oh, as what you always. This is Max. Talk about my XRPP. It's hysterical, but might as well have some fun time, right? Anyway, Gerald. He says he saw Lehman Baird do a seminar on H-bar and thought it was excellent. Cool. Yeah. I mean, he used to be teaching all this stuff at Baylor. What school is it, guys? Baylor or some school like that. Out in Texas. So interesting. BSV is Bitcoin. Yes, it is. Don't sleep on Hex, everyone. Make your staking ladder while it's under a penny. A lot of people feel about that way, but that's all right. April Cornwell's in the house. She says, hey, Max. Well, hey, right? I try to say it the right way for you, April, instead of doing the hey, but I still got to say that too. All right, I'm going to read a few more comments, and then we'll kick it back to the next part of coverage, which is BSV, if you guys have been waiting for some BSV. Vibra says he's been there since day one. He knows Richard is a genius. He, love him or hate him, Hex and Pulse would do 100x. Wow. All right. Let's see here. All right. What do we got? Let's highlight this. It's sorry I had to go ape irresponsibly on a coin I did zero research on. Let's effing go. People do it, man. I mean, no judgment. All right, let me check the other screen real quick. We got a $50 super chat. Wow, my God. You guys are really blessing me tonight, man. Thank you so much. We have a wonderful community. Let's go down to this for a second before I get to it. LaGran says, "We love you, bro. You were doing great. Thanks, man. I'm trying. I mean, I try to stay humble. That's why I'm sitting down. No, I'm kidding. I'm trying to quote Kendrick Lamar, but all right. Let's see here. Let's read this real quick. Wow, that's awesome, man. I hope it works out for you. I've been eating 2 times a day, also nothing after 3. It's just a lot more energy, and I feel good. And if anything, just being able to sleep. And apparently you burn the most amount of calories anyway when you sleep. So, and it does help reduce my chances of getting cancer. Cancer runs on both sides of the family, unfortunately. All right, let's get further down to that comment. Brian Dowie, real quick. I gotta welcome Brian Dowie. Appreciate you being here, Brian. And it's a $50 super chat from, I guess, a newcomer. I hope we see more of you, obviously. And it's Goo God, Degenerate Alien PTGC Titan H bar. Very cool. You can call me Goo. Okay, cool. Vibra turned me into an H bar maxi. Hey, nothing wrong with that, right? Glad to be here. Thanks for having me on, my chat. No worries. Well, we welcome you. Glad to have you here. If that obviously is you, but you got either sunglasses on and so on. It looks cool. It's a cool avatar. You look pretty sharp. I do like it when people wear suits and so on. One of these days, I'll have to wear a suit and tie on the show. I think it was a long time ago. Who was it, guys? It was I think it was John Francis. I don't know if he's watching tonight. Shout out to him. Somebody, I think it was either him or somebody else said, Max, got to get you on with a suit someday. But yeah, someday. Not in the middle of Phoenix hot summer, but definitely someday. Maybe in this winter time that we got. Who knows? Maybe I'll do it. I don't know. But nonetheless, $50 super chat. Are you kidding me, man? I am so incredibly grateful to you tonight. Thank you guys so much. Blessing me and this channel. It really does mean a lot. So, guys, if you haven't done this, so please welcome all newcomers. Welcome Goo. If I'm pronouncing that right, if it's Goo or is this Jew, I don't know. That sounds. Sorry. It's probably Goo, but let me know. Is it, am I pronouncing it right the first time? Is it Goo? All right. All right. And also thanks to Vibra Finance for giving us, a nice referral. So very, very cool. All right. All right. He says, cheers. You got the cool cats laughing. That's good stuff. Welcome to new folks. Thank you so much, Boomer. All right. So let's get into the next part. What we have, it is the ESV segment. But before we get into that, I have to check on my beloved Phoenix Suns. I think the game just started not too long ago. Let me see where we're at. Phoenix. First quarter, 4 minutes into it, Phoenix leads the Lakers 26-15. That's good stuff. All right. That's why I got the hat on, right? Anyway. I do like LeBron, though. Anyway. Maybe some people are like, well, I'm going to take my super chat back if you like him. No, I'm kidding. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, let's pull this up. Oh, I got it right. Cool. So Goo, right on. You love it? That's funny. Like freaking Cartman and be like, Navi, welcome, kid. Are you the kid that we're looking for? No, Richie. You want to pet my kid? I like you, Bruce. Thank you so much for the $50 super chat. Okay. George Cohen's the mid. I'm going to be rich. All right. I haven't done that voice in a long time, right? All right. That's cool. Very cool. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. All right. So, yeah, let's get into some of that BSV for you guys because I know you guys love it. Some of you hate it. Right? Let me get the right tab up. That would help, right? All right. I got a frozen frame of Lehman Baird looking all alien style right now. It's kind of funny. But anyway. All right. So here it is. Let's pull up the branding for it. As Cool Cat Crypto is mentioned, BSV is the one with the straight up and down, Bitcoin logo. It ain't all sideways and crooked because there's nothing crooked about BSV, right? I guess that's a good point. So there it is. BSV, listen to this. Even if you're not into BSV, I want you to pay attention to this. No, you don't have to be like Biggie and relax and take notes, but it is significant, and that's why we want to show it to you. So here it is straight from the BSV blockchain at BSV blockchain. 17.6 thousand followers is another one, as we know, but I want to share this because I thought it was significant, because we are on the topic of what, guys? Wallets. Obviously big news with Hedera and also Algorand, but this definitely gets the honorable mention tonight as well. Why is that? Let me come back into the frame. So basically, the reason why it gets honorable mention is for a few reasons. So for one, look what it says. Understand the various types of wallets. Right, topic of the night. It is crucial for financial control and security. This was a key panel discussion from LDN Blockchain. They are a London blockchain conference focused on application. Remember how Cool Cat was talking about this last year? He was like, watch out for that London conference. It's going to be big, right? They have expert insights from this particular person, Lorian Gamaroff, CEO and co-founder over at CentBee. So some of you guys have pointed out, especially when you go to .bsv.live, something like that, right? To get BSV. You said, for instance, like CentBee is one of the ones you go with, right? Well, this is the guy from CentBee, and there's some other people here, but anyway, I want to share this with you because it says what to consider when developing a wallet. There's more than meets the eye. What exactly is this, and what are they talking about? When we click on that link, and it will take us to here, and it's published on the 8th, but again, right around the time of the whole thing with Hedera and Algorand. So I thought I'd point out to you guys. I do have it highlighted. It says wallets are the gateways of the world of digital finance, serving as the digital containers that hold the keys to one's cryptocurrency wealth. Very true. That's why some of us have cold storage, or like myself, a couple of them, right? Some of you guys might have 3, 4, I don't know. But it is the cornerstone of the blockchain ecosystem. These wallets not only store cryptographic keys necessary for accessing and managing Bitcoin holdings, but they also play a crucial role in securing and facilitating the transfer of these digital assets. It has this whole thing of this landscape where financial sovereignty and security are paramount, understanding basically Bitcoin wallets, their intricacies, the fundamentals for anyone looking to venture to the world of digital currencies. We have these people that we mentioned from CentBee, a few other things and so on. But this statement, before we kick it into the video, of why start from scratch when building a wallet? Well, Zeeming began the panel by discussing when exactly a business should consider developing a wallet on Bitcoin. Now, this is BSV we're talking about. People feel as though the original Bitcoin protocol and the one with maximum crazy scalability and so on. It states that he noted, while these companies always have the option to build their wallets, it is often far more efficient to use one of the wallets that already exists in the ecosystem. They reiterate this. They talk about this whole thing of Tau and N-chain. But I'm just going to stop reading this, and I'm going to take you right to it. And basically speaking, it's this right here. They started off, it's 30 minutes. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but the first few minutes are definitely worth paying attention to. So let's play this. I think it's significant in light of everything that's been going on with the other big blue chips, right? Hedera, Algorand, and so on. This is BSV, though. Let's play this. Thank you for being here. And if anything, yeah, let's get this going on. So actually, I had to watch it on YouTube. Hold on a second. Let me make the link, the ad stop, because it wasn't full screen. Give me a second. All right, so let's pull this up. Here it is. Yeah, good stuff. Here we go.
All right, you guys, welcome. So today we're going to talk about wallets, and we'll get right into it. So the first question is, when should an app developer, they're building this awesome application, it's going to use, use the blockchain. When should they build their own wallet, or when should they use an existing solution? And we'll go ahead and start with you, Liam.
I think it depends. I mean, it's possible to do both, of course. But I think I'm working a bit on the Teranode vision of really a lot of transactions coming in, and one generic wallet won't be able to handle everything. So I think while they can take the basis of a wallet and use that code, they're going to have to, I think, handle the SPV stuff, looking after the inputs, the UTXOs, and keeping track of the transactions.
Wallets may look a little bit different than they do today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But okay, we'll go ahead and move to you, Lynn.
I think when an enterprise they enter the PSV market and they want to develop their own applications, they have to have their independent developed wallets that tailored to their needs, but they can use a lot of libraries provided, the infrastructure provided by the ecosystem. And why they need to tailor it to the needs, because there might be different needs that apart from the actual customer needs, right? They have their built-in function that might not fit the needs of the situation, the occasion of their needs, right? So I think when you are building an application, at least you need to have a wallet for yourself, for your company, right? But it might not be good to provide a solution for the consumer.
So for example, let's say with Handcash, you're going to just do micropayments or something, and maybe that or Dot Wallet might be a solution. But if you need, maybe scripting features, then that's kind of what you're talking about. Depends on the application and what's the primary use case.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we'll move on to Lorian. Hopefully, mic's working.
Yeah.
All right, great. I can hear you.
Yes, the question is when to build your own wallet. Yeah, and of course it depends. But there are a lot of tools out there and a lot of services. When you build a Bitcoin wallet, you have to think about the blockchain, of course, and depending on your use case, if you're going to be scanning blockchains and all that sort of thing, obviously it comes with a huge amount of effort. But luckily, there are companies out there today like Tal and others, the work that nChain's doing, that are making that a lot easier. So really the difficult part when creating an app or something is really just the app itself. How can you make it compelling? And for that, you don't need blockchain skills. You just need to know how to spin an app together. And also, there are open source wallets out there as well, but I would suggest not really getting into it, because the difficult part that you think, which is the Bitcoin side of things, that's really that's a small part in a way, because remember, the blockchain is handling that. So all you need to do is just make sure you're signing transactions and getting them broadcast. And you think, well, if I take a Bitcoin wallet that already exists, that's going to already, push me really forward, and I don't have to worry about all that stuff. But what you're going to end up doing is spending a lot of time kind of peeling away all that code, unnecessary code that you don't need, and it's going to be filling up your hours. And you're going to be trying to whittle it down to something that is appropriate for you. So I would say, go ahead and build a wallet. You don't need to have blockchain skills, but in doing that, you're going to learn valuable skills, because then you'll know when playing with the blockchain what you'd need to do at a basic level, rather than having a lot to deal with. So I would always suggest. And it's not rocket science. You don't have to be you don't have to be Dr. Craig Wright to figure out Bitcoin. The white paper is clear, but also really the protocol, it's fairly simple. So I would totally suggest, get stuck in. There's documentation. The BSV Association has a lot of content out there that helps you through how to create everything, and just sort of focus on building something simple and growing from there. I guess that's the advice.
Right. Michael?
So I definitely agree with my colleagues, panelists here, that it really depends on what we would like to achieve in the end, because we need to think about the user. There are a lot of different solutions already out there, and do we really need another wallet? Do we really need like another application that we would need to sign in, send some crucial data? So it really depends. If we only need some, UTXO management or something like that, we can definitely use already existing tools that are developed, that are tested, battle tested in the real world. Because building a custom wallet will also cost us money, right? It's development, so we need to consider what we would like to achieve in the end to answer this question.
I would imagine too, one of the problems, if you're doing it yourself, at least me as a developer, I'd be worried about security, like if I'm gonna mess this up, and so I may turn to have somebody else do it. What do you guys think about that? Are there pitfalls in security of the wallets? And does anybody want to take this and go first? Yeah.
I suppose it depends on what sort of wallet you're building. If you're building a web-based, web-free wallet, like a MetaMask or something, then the security risks are much higher than if you're building something that you actually install. I think maybe the way forward could be, rather than having people build their own wallets, could be to have more standards so that people can follow these standards, and then an interface, and we just follow that interface, and then you can sign your own sort of tokens, or you can do whatever you want to do in your wallet.
Yeah, I've always imagined that wallets would eventually and you talked also about specialization, so there could be multiple wallets. Some would be an application, but I've always imagined that it would go down to the iOS or the OS level. You know what I mean? In the same way you have your keychain and stuff. So how do you see that with specialization? And do you guys think that I'm on track with the OS? And what do you guys think?
So
Hold on, I had to pause that because, sorry, this is a commercial. Sorry, give me a second. All right, we're gonna kick it back to this. Only about maybe 4 more minutes. I want you guys to see this because there's a lot of talk about obviously the wallet. So I just didn't want you to have to sit through a commercial. All right, here we go.
I'll just mention I want to go back to the security thing quickly before we go there,
sure,
because
yeah.
that really is a major topic.
Yeah.
If you are building anything to do with Bitcoin, you are going to be attacked all the time. We are constantly attacked all the time. And so, we have to think very carefully about securing our endpoints and, those open servers, getting them behind VPNs and so on. One of the cool things, though, about what we did, which isn't really a long-term solution, but it helps in the short term, which is to make a non-custodial wallet, because then the keys are pushed to the user, and they have to be compromised. And so when you give the responsibility to the user to manage the keys, then that's a great burden you don't have to carry. But of course, if we want to really make Bitcoin useful for most people, most people, even me, most of the time when I log into something, I just go straight for the forgot password and reset it. So, that responsibility of giving it over to your user is a bad idea, of course, in the long term, if you're wanting to go for a mass market. But we can't continue that way. We have to think about how do we become custodians, and how do we, carefully look after our customers' assets. And so, a major thing is going to have to be getting up to speed and hiring the right people to secure your network. Because I can assure you, as soon as you come out and say, look, we're Bitcoin, there's going to be somebody trying to find a way in the back. It's never a lot of fun. It's very expensive. And then just the point that you raised about OS, I think what you're asking is it what like Samsung is doing, where they're creating embedded wallets into the devices?
For sure, like what they do with your thumbprint or your face scan is they'll put it on a separate chip, in the, the secure enclave, as they call it. And I feel like that would be a really useful thing to have with these keys. Because like you were saying with the insecurity, if it's based on the browser, if it's in this little Chrome extension, it just seems so, dangerous to me at least. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about.
All right. There's a lot more to this. If anything, I'm going to drop it into the comments real quick if you want to watch the full thing. All right, just a second. Let's send that to you guys. I'm going to turn the branding back on for a second. And all right. So within the last minute and a half, towards the end of what we just played, I don't know if you noticed, but the guy, the bald guy, if you will, he was mentioning this whole thing of like recovering seed phrases and doing this thing from scratch in regards to the wallet. This is why this whole topic of the show is focused on this. So again, for some of the people that are just tuning in, we were talking about earlier with Hedera and also Algorand, the collaboration to do this thing that, Hedera has mentioned over a year ago about seed phrase recovery and a specific wallet to get the whole job done. And of course, collaboration with Algorand that was mentioned earlier today is huge news. But the timing of this, you're also seeing BSV, and we may very well see other blockchains because, Dr. Lehman Baird from Hedera did mention specifically we've invited more blockchains to get involved. Could we have seen an invite from Hedera to BSV? Very well possible. But the point is, not recognizing like, well, we're all in competition. Yeah, there's competition, but this whole thing of having everything unified, coming together, with quant, we always talk about interoperability, right? But in this case, it's literally just like compatibility and making everything just be a giant platform for the masses to just simply come into like DeFi and so on and accomplish that common goal instead of saying, hey, you're not part of Hedera, right? You guys are part of Bitcoin Association and so on. Anyway, my point is this. You see all these things coming out of the woodwork. I think it's absolutely great. And for Hedera and Algorand and also BSV to be at the forefront already, that is super, super cool. I love the these little conferences or these meetings, or even the one with Hedera and Algorand, the news about it and so on. Who's next, right, is my key takeaway when it comes to that. And on top of that, I want to give you guys just my little last brief bit of notes. So the way I looked at it was, when we're looking at some of these videos and reading some of the articles about some of this recent news, the way I look at it is this. What about this whole thing of developing a brand new wallet from scratch in regards to BSV and why it's so significant, right? Well, there's a few reasons. So some of the things that was mentioned in the video, but especially one of the things that wasn't mentioned in the YouTube video from those guys is addressing even more scalability issues, as if BSV didn't really do enough, right? So basically, one of the primary concerns surrounding BSV for some people is basically this whole thing of, the larger block size compared to compared to BTC, while enabling faster transactions, does basically raise concerns about storage requirements and network efficiency. Some people who are BTC maxis will say, oh yeah, Saylor's got it all right on this one. But does he? Does he really? I don't think so. Hear me out. A new wallet designed specifically for BSV can very well optimize storage, transaction processing to improve scalability, and of course, transaction speed. And this is where I feel as though, once again, that they are talking in code, and especially when it comes to BlackRock and so on. Maybe, like you guys have mentioned earlier, shout out to Mark. Mark pointed out, hey, Vanguard said no on the ETF. Maybe it's because they want to go with BSV. I don't know. I know it sounds crazy, but enhanced security. How about this? Existing wallets, as we know, might not be entirely optimized for BSV's specific features. Hear me out. And functionalities. A dedicated BSV wallet could implement custom security features and even protocols tailored to BSV's unique characteristics, potentially minimizing vulnerabilities and enhancing what we all want, overall security, right? Ethereum boasts maximum security, but it's slower than freaking snail's pace, right? We don't need any of that. This is BSV we're talking about. So I think we're going to get the enhanced security. Some of these guys were talking about it, furthermore in this video. If you get more into the full thing, I dropped it in the comments for you guys. But back to the whole topic from the beginning of the show, and that was Hedera and Algorand. Algorand. I'm a YouTuber, right? So we always try to trigger the algorithm. Anyway, they're looking to enhance user experience. Will BSV do the same thing? I think the answer is yes. So many existing wallets are generic, as we know, and may not cater to specific needs of BSV users, but a new wallet built from scratch can offer a tailored user interface and features that are optimized for specifically that which is BSV, and such as, like, for instance, faster transaction confirmations, easier access to BSV specific tools, services, dApps, right? And more intuitive overall experience. This is going to definitely boost the ecosystem growth. We've always talked about, I don't care what project you're into. Like, for instance, Luna Classic's trying to do the whole thing of bringing more people to the ecosystem. Good luck with that, right? I'm not trying to flood Luna Classic. I'll hold a bunch of it still. But if you already have one that has the trust, and if anything, the next step is just a better wallet with recovered seed phrases as an option and enhanced user experience. Like, can somebody who's never even been into crypto before use it and have no problems? That's a win. We know there's going to be technological advancements to this. BSV could very well introduce cutting edge tech on top of the tech. BSV can set the new standard for security, privacy, and user experience in the overall cryptocurrency space. Like I mentioned, attract people from Ethereum to go jump ship to a better, more efficient platform. Seems like a win-win. But one thing I do love about BSV is this whole thing of community building. Say what you want. Communities come together with us, you name it, coming together to foster a sense of community and collaboration among BSV enthusiasts by involving community testing, feedback. BSV can, in fact, create a wallet that truly reflects the needs and preferences of its users. So it's not just the devs coming in and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. It's also getting the community involved and also getting that free feedback, if you will. See what you want. Like, I'm a gamer, right? How many times I play games where I've alpha tested, beta tested, and so on? You share what bugs exist, and if anything, more than one person testing those things out. Say what you want. You bat out the problems that exist. We'll apply that to blockchain, DLT. It's a win-win. So, in conclusion, overall, the development of a brand new wallet from scratch by BSV is definitely a significant step towards the whole thing of this potential to address existing challenges such as recovered seed phrases. And it will very well advance BSV's technology to ultimately boost the growth and adoption of just that, our beloved asset, BSV. All this news about this talk of these wallets and just the common thing of recovered seed phrases, I think is absolutely awesome, because even if you're not a holder of BSV, Algorand, or Hedera, we all understand this is a win for us in this space. So with that said, that's going to conclude our coverage of the night for what we presented, right? Hopefully you guys enjoyed this particular little bit of a slight change of format tonight. Trying to bring it all together as one topic from three different cryptocurrencies. But there you go. All right, I'm going to take out the branding for a second. And we're going to just read the last bit of comments before we close out the show. All right. Last bit of comments. Let's see who it's from. It is... you like the impersonation of the Cartman? I actually do 22. Well, no fact. You know, a lot of these guys know it, but I used to be on an improv team many years ago, and yeah, did a lot of different impersonations. All right, let's see here. You want to know something? You might have seen him tonight. Edward Vincent, aka Squidward. He is a master of impersonations for real. That guy's amazing. All right. Don't make you FOMO easily. You're easily triggered. That's okay. In the video that we showed earlier from BSV, the guy on the far left is one of the best coders on earth. Interesting. All right, Andrew Gonzalez, Jed and Elon getting ready to bring XLM 2X. I mean, I really feel like that's a thing. I mean, it just simply makes sense that, you know, Elon would choose that. Man, when he officially mentions that, you imagine, like, wow. You know, people complaining that, oh, Stellar doesn't do anything. It just sits at 12 cents. It doesn't do anything. Give me a break. That'd be absolutely massive. But I still say this. I don't think Doge will be used for cross-border payments because that doesn't make sense. But a rewards token or coin, I think that is still more than a possibility. I'm sticking to my guns on that one. And that's why, if anything, I'm still glad I got back into Doge last time around. But it's only one of, you know, like I said, the Coke and Pepsi are meme coins. I don't think you could go wrong with them, but teaches them. All right. Hey, awesome. Goo, welcome. Newest member. Thank you so much for that, man. That means a lot. You know, it puts a smile on my face. Always, you know, it's nice to feel appreciated, but, you know, that's cool. That's very, very cool. So, obviously, you did a super chat, but you want to become a new member. That tells me you want to see more of these shows. You appreciate the content. That is like the nicest compliment any guy like myself could get. So thank you, sir. I really do appreciate it. There's no dab. And you thought that guy said Corium? Interesting. Thank you, Tim, for welcoming all newcomers, especially new members. I do have some exclusive content. I know I mentioned it before the break, before my dad passed away, about the whole thing of I'm going to give you guys an exclusive video for members only. I am going to do that. I don't know if I get it accomplished this weekend, but it is on my list. You know, maybe this weekend, maybe out till next. It just depends. There's a certain guy I need to check in that regard because some of the things I can't just go all out and mention, but it'll be exclusive to members. You're a new member. You'll see that's one of the benefits of being a member. So, no, it's not some meme token or anything like that as utility. So, all right, let's go to further down. That dude with the big hair is one of the guys working on Terranode. Absolute genius. Thanks for that, cool cat. River is in the house. You can always watch the replay if you want. You don't have to. You'll see it chopped up anyway, River. Good to see you, River. Appreciate you. Your step bro, Mr. Blackwood, is here somewhere. Maybe you already left. Ethereum Classic is doing good this week. Yeah, it was the #1 on the top 100 earlier. I'm glad you paid attention to that. And let's read this from Cool Cat. BSV is a real blockchain, much more challenging to make a wallet than keep up with it. That's a good point. All right. River, I'm at the rink with earbuds game on soon. Okay, cool. Jasmy is what Boomer F and Sooner is mentioning. Jasmy just crossed 60,000 holders. That's awesome. You know, with that announcement, I mean, for all we know, there could be people like out of the woodwork in the background, like literally at the 50-yard line, like 50 to 40 to 30 to 20 to 10, you know, touchdown, Mr. Boomer F and Sooner. You know, it's like subliminal messages you don't know about, but that's okay. You know, we just do a hey, 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 but that's all right. Probably where I'm going with that. I don't want to mention him anymore, but that's all right. Boom. All right, let's go further down. Let's read this comment as well. Cool Cat Crypto. Most of these Ethereum ERC20 poop coins are easy to have wallets for. It's just some dude in his mom's basement. Oh God, I guess that's a good point. You want to know something? This new keyboard, I'm gonna have to disable a function on it. When I use my mouse wheel up and down, it is shrinking down my screen, and that's really annoying me. I'll have to get that fixed anyway. All right, let's read this from River. Last time we were here, there was a couple of suspensions, so tonight is going to be spicy. All right. Well, I already know about one of the other guys the other night. He takes a lot to get banned from here, but this guy was just beyond rude. I don't even want to mention it. If you want to ask me in private who it was, I'll tell you, but I don't really want to acknowledge him too much because he's an absolute psycho. And it has no connection to the old channel. It's just, I don't know. This guy's literally like somebody who escaped from insane asylum, basically. Yeah, that crazy. Anyway, all right, let's read this from Goo. It's hard to find people talking about these projects. I love anything HBAR, XLM, Algo, and people only want to talk about the latest poo coin on a worthless 25 TPS hype chain. Yeah, I mean, my thing is this. I mean, like, just like a lot of people, like last bull market, I did well. You don't know my story. I'll just tell you, turned basically 10K and 120K. Didn't make me rich, but at the same time, I was like, wow, man, Shiba Inu did really well. That was like one of my top performers, 11x. And from there, I was like, I gotta go after more meme coins, right? This is like when I was really new to alts, not new to Bitcoin, but new to alts. And so I got into like, man, like maybe 10 or more, meme tokens, and it was just a big giant mistake. I mean, come on, man, like Clifford Inu, I think I put like $1,400 in that garbage. Look back at it, it's like, man, that could have been $1,400 more into Quant or Stellar or whatever, right? XRP, HBAR, right? Nope. Down the tube. It was just like literally taking the money and just flushing it down the toilet. But you live and you learn, right? The saying goes, you learn from your failures and so on. That was definitely one of mine. And there's some other ones. What was, like the other ones with blatant road pulls, Suzuki Inu, and just, man, forget that stuff. I mean, the way I look at it is, I understand for some of us, we're still going to chase after certain meme coins. Teach his own. There's no judgment there. I haven't been into any meme coins since January of 2022. So it's basically like, wow, 2 years. I keep forgetting that we're in 2024. There's only really one meme coin, like that's not part of like the Cokes and Pepsis, if you will, like Dogecoin and Shiba, that I've been thinking about getting into, which is the Jesus coin, because it's got a perfect score of 100 out of 100. But other than that, I mean, I missed out on Pepe. But think about this, guys. Some of you guys have missed out on Pepe. Some of you didn't. But it's like, how many ones did you have to go through before you got to the Pepe? For again, this pounds home even that much more of, why don't you just get into the blue chips that were on sale during crypto winter? My God, we'll look back. I can guarantee this. A few years down the road from now, when we got proper regulations and all this stuff, and like the whole talk of ETFs and all this is in the past, and we already have Hedera and Algorand, all this stuff, like established, recovery seed wallets, if you will, right? It's already the future. We'll look back and say to ourselves, my God, you could have bought blue chips for not much more than meme token ERC20 garbage. So why didn't more people do that? Hence why there's the 99% and there's the 1%. That's all I can say. I'm not picking on anybody, because I too have been guilty of getting into some of the meme coins like Piccolo Inu, and what's the other one? What's the other one I have on Ishmart? I don't know. It starts with the L. I can't even remember. So I don't even care about this stuff. Lofi. Well, I can't remember. Luffy Inu, something like Luffy, not Inu, but Luffy. Yeah. You guys own that? Maybe you think, oh, I've just flooded it. Hey, at the end of the day, I'm a content creator. I can share how I feel too. Sometimes people feel as though content creators can't have freedom of thought. That's just the way I personally feel about it. Most of that stuff, I wasted my money. Did I do well on Doge? Yeah, absolutely. It came in at a penny. Man, I got lucked out on that. Got out of it at roughly 70 cents. Never looked back. Was like, well, give me another one. Shiba Inu, lucked out on that, right? But man, all the other ones I didn't luck out on. I mean, I'll have to add it up Sunday. I'll have to add up. Maybe I'll do it the next show when I come back with you guys on Monday. How much did Max waste on meme tokens? That's a good subject. If anybody cares, I don't know. All right, let's read the last bit of comments. Destructobot 9,000. That's a cool looking avatar. He says, "Will the Asian market move it, or so not care about an ETF?" I think they do care about the ETF. I will say this: one of my last videos about BSV talks about how South Korea went all in on BSV, and that's so significant. I mean, you got to keep in mind these people are not like dummies; very intelligent. A bunch of people over there. All right. Let's see here. Jonathan Baker says, tough, yeah. I don't know what that's about. Also tough to be a Suns fan. Oh, okay. Let's go, Maz. Yeah, man, Maz messed this up. I got to admit on that. So, anyway. All right. GS is in the house. You can watch the replay if you want. Goose says Jesus coin is a good meme. The community has church spaces where they read the Bible and stuff. Yeah, I like stuff like that. It's good stuff. All their memes are 0 now. Yeah. PTI, good meme. River, I like to see your meme token list. Yeah, sure. I might share that. All right. So I just want to state this. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we're almost hitting the 2-hour mark. What we're going to do now is we're going to read the top 1,000 for no reason at all. I'm kidding. We're not going to do that. You guys know the joke. Anyway, please smash the like on your way out. I think currently speaking, we are at, let's see how we did tonight. 55. That's not bad. So yeah, not too shabby. Well, you guys, you'll see chopped up versions of what was on the show tonight, as well as the other ones from the last couple days. Some of that stuff isn't time sensitive. So I'll be back with you guys possibly on Saturday, depending on how bullish the report is from Investor Place. And of course, if I had canceled plans on Saturday evening, no offense. And then I'll be back either way on Monday with you guys. So yeah, as the saying goes, know what you have, know why you hold it. The research trumps FUD 110%. Yeah, have a blessed weekend. Be safe out there. Don't get into any like road rage or anything like that. We want to see you stick around for Party at Boomers, right? Some interesting brisket or wherever it is, where we're going to have the final get together for when we've made it, right? Absolutely. And I want to see you guys there, right? We all want to be healthy, safe, and all make it to the finish line. This whole thing is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So it is what it is. Have a great night. Peace out. And sayonara from what? The Rice Cup Consortium. Let's go. Bye-bye.